Russia continues its attacks around the city of Bakhmut in the east of Ukraine as authorities attempt to get communications up and running again. Macron in America. The French president says he'll confront his US counterpart over subsidies paid to US companies.
Fleetwood Mac singer Christine McVie, who helped create one of the world's best-selling albums, has died, aged 79.
It's day 12 of the Qatar World Cup, with Germany fighting for their survival in the competition. We'll have all of the results here as they come in. In the east of Ukraine, Russia is continuing to keep up pressure on the city of Bakhmut. It's one of the few areas where Moscow is still on the offensive. Meanwhile, in his nightly address, the Ukrainian president responded to comments made by Elon Musk in October that Ukraine should give up some territory to Russia to end the war. Volodymyr Zelensky suggested that someone may have influence over the billionaire and that the destruction wrought speaks for itself. He said, "I'm always being open. If you want to understand what Russia has done here, come to Ukraine and you will see this with your own eyes. After that, you will tell us how to end this war, who started it and when we can end it." Meanwhile, telecom engineers are busy trying to keep communication lines open after Russian strikes took out electricity across the country. They're now fueling generators to provide power to mobile phone towers. A Ukrainian engineer said, "I know that our guys, my colleagues, are very exhausted, but they are very motivated by the fact that what we are doing is an important thing. Now, unfortunately, there is war in Ukraine." And away from the war-torn country, the Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska visited the Ukrainian Catholic Cathedral of the Holy Family in exile in London with King Charles. They opened a new Ukrainian welcome centre which will help displaced families in the country.
Russia says it's captured a few settlements in eastern Ukraine, eager for a win after a series of setbacks. The heaviest fighting at the moment is in Bakhmut. Elderly and disabled people are being helped by volunteers to leave the area on trains as the war intensifies.
It's scary. Only the dead are not afraid. And we still want to live. Nobody needs a dead worker of the service that evacuates people. As long as we're alive, we can help.
The last 4 days have been unbearable. Projectiles fly back and forth, rockets. The children's apartment was broken. There's no apartment. It's very hard emotionally. The evacuation comes as Bakhmut has been dubbed the meat grinder due to the brutal trench warfare, artillery duels and frontal assaults.
The European Commission is taking a heavy-handed approach towards Hungary. It proposes freezing 7.5 billion euros from the EU budget's cohesion fund, saying Budapest has not progressed enough in its reforms against corruption. At the same time, Hungary's 5.8 billion euro pandemic recovery plan has finally been approved, but payments from it will be suspended unless the country can prove that reforms are being implemented properly. In total, 13 billion euros will be held back.
Hungary has unfortunately not implemented the remedial measures so that we could say that the risks we identified have gone away. We conclude, therefore, that we maintain, as it stands, our proposal on the budgetary protection measures.
The frozen funds can only be unlocked if 27 conditions are met, ranging from strengthening anti-corruption measures to improving the independence of the judiciary. Despite all these measures, Budapest still says it's satisfied with the deal, because the money will arrive sooner rather than later, as Hungary will meet the conditions.
I trust that we will fulfill our remaining commitments as precisely and as thoroughly as we have done so far, and that we will be able to convince the Commission and the Council in 2023 that the suspension no longer needs to be maintained.
The Hungarian opposition welcomes the proposal and expects EU countries to approve it soon.
In the last 10 years, billions of euros came to Hungary, but the healthcare is in a worse situation than 10 years ago, the education is in a worse situation, the competitiveness of the country did not increase because all these funds went to 3-4 oligarchs. Now with this decision we can stop this process.
EU member states need a qualified majority to accept or reject Hungary's proposal. But the vote will be timed so that other issues Budapest has been blocking won't continue to be held up. Among them, releasing funds for Ukraine and holding up a deal on a global corporate tax. Chris with Pictures, Euronews.
The French President Emmanuel Macron says he'll confront his American counterpart, Joe Biden, over the subsidies contained in the Inflation Reduction Act, also known as the IRA. At the French embassy in Washington, Macron said the subsidies paid to US companies under a vast green energy plan could split the West. However, the White House says they welcome discussions about the topic.
European partners have expressed concerns about the IRA. So I think we would have every expectation that it might come up. In fact, we welcome that conversation. The president last month stood up a task force, a US-EU task force specifically around the IRA so that we could better understand European concerns about it. And so that we could frankly share our perspectives on the IRA, and particularly around clean energy.
Despite the comment, Macron called the French-US alliance stronger than anything as he wrapped up the first day of his state visit. He said, "If I am returning to Washington and if I'm going to meet with President Biden right after seeing you, it's with a view to try and be worthy of the bonds that our history has forged between us, an alliance stronger than anything." Macron also visited NASA, called for the International Monetary Fund to be reformed to better tackle climate change, and attended a ceremony at the Arlington National Cemetery, all on day one. He's due to have talks with President Biden on Thursday.
Singer-songwriter Christine McVie from the band Fleetwood Mac has died, aged 79. The British-born vocalist helped define such classics as You Make Loving Fun, Don't Stop and Little Lies. McVie was a steady presence and personality in a band known for its frequent lineup changes and volatile personalities, notably fellow singer-songwriters Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. The band sold tens of millions of records during its peak commercial years from 1975 to 1980. Her breakup with husband bassist John McVie, along with the split of Nicks and Buckingham, was famously documented on the 1977 release Rumours, among the best-selling albums of all time. No cause of death was immediately provided.
4 times World Cup winners Germany will be looking to avoid a shocking early exit when they take on Costa Rica at the Al Bayat Stadium on Thursday. Hansi Flick's side left it late to salvage a 1-1 draw against Spain, and nothing less than a win will do for Germany if they are to break into the top 2. Following their humiliating 7-0 loss to La Roja, Costa Rica bounced back against Japan, and a win over a struggling German side would see them progress to the knockout stages for just the 3rd time in their history. Meanwhile, Spain and Japan will battle it out at the Khalifa International Stadium. La Roja are currently top of the group with 4 points, while Germany are currently bottom ahead of their must-win game. Euronews reporter Sam Ashew has all the latest from Group F.
Well, it was touted as one of the games of the group stages, but Croatia versus Belgium may be even bigger than first anticipated. Zlatko Dalic's side need just a point to qualify, but Belgium must win if they're to guarantee themselves a spot in the last 16. This Croatia side that are currently training behind me aren't getting any younger, but they're looking pretty confident ahead of this one, despite the fact that Belgium are currently ranked 2nd in the world. As for one of the other sides in the group, Morocco, well, what a tournament they're having. Their win against Belgium means they just need a point against Canada at the Al Tumama Stadium later to ensure that they qualify into the last 16. Group F is well and truly all to play for. Sam Ashew for Euronews in Doha.